Hello, so in this video we will be setting up the Anatomy and Physiology 2 lecture and lab, just some of the routine things that I do when I set up for a course. I will not be going over setting up the Pearson, the mastering program that's within here. There are two other videos that you can watch on setting that up. So mostly we'll be going over news posts, the groups that are on here, and then the one thing I do for the discussion boards. So if you watch the other two videos first, you'll know that I had mentioned that I basically keep everything, so it makes setting up much easier. I can just copy and paste from some documents that I have. So I have a class setup document with like the lab and lecture assignments and what module they're due in. I used to set up a classroom discussion board, but the system, I guess, is now updated, and I cannot add a new discussion board in there. So I no longer do this. I'll show you what I do differently. But for every class I teach, it's not anatomy and physiology specific, but I have this little intro about myself, and then class policies, when the assignments are due, deadlines, things like that with my email. And then I have a little video that I've made walking them through their course. So if you don't know, real quick, to create a class announcement. So when you open your page here, this is the lab course. So you click on Show All Announcements, New Item, and then I'm going to just copy from that document that I just showed you. And I'm going to paste. I want to keep my formatting. So here, just something to note, I have a video that I don't want the link in there, I want the actual video. So I'm going to copy this link, and I'm going to click this button here with the little play, pause, stop sign, and I'm going to insert a link. It is a YouTube video, but this is more like if you're searching for a YouTube video, so I actually have the link, so I'm going to insert it, and this is just a video that I have made kind of walking new students through how to navigate the classroom. So I want that to come out now, so I'm just going to go ahead and publish that. Now I have all of the news for lab and lecture that I'm going to eventually put out there. So I can show you, so I'll just, let me just copy, sorry, let me snag just this one so I can show you. This is lab. I want to go to lecture. Okay, so show all announcements. Then we'll do a new item. So I have a kind of a long post on essay assignments and the Turnitin score and plagiarism. And so I always post that the first week. So this one I wanted to show because this one, I am going to set it, not for today, I'm going to have it say release on Thursday. So I have all of my news posts for the whole 8 weeks. And when I set up a course, I make sure to put them all in with the start date of whatever module I want them to go out. This way, for each week, I don't have to keep going back in and remembering, oh, for week 7, there was a cool article or an interesting video that I wanted to share. I already have it already set to release on the day I want it to release. So for this one, I want it to release on Thursday, but I also want to add, so I go to, all right, let me open the document. So I have, pull this over here. So I have like an examples of an APA formatted essay. I've got 2 examples for them that I always post along with this news announcement. So I've set my start date, and then I go to attach file, my computer, and then it's as simple as I'm going to grab these 2 and I'm going to drag and drop it in there. And once they load, I can add that, and I see that they're attached, and I just publish. So I go through this for both lecture and lab for the whole 8 weeks. That way, it's just a little bit of upfront, but I don't have to come back in and worry about news posts. I always inevitably have more news that I have to post. But, so the other thing is for module, so this is my lab news. Okay, so for anatomy and physiology specifically, Bio 202, there is a group project. So for week 4, I always make sure to say, oh, hey, by the way, you've got this group project, and I tell them who's in their groups, and just in case they don't know, and I make sure to kind of call attention to their roles and rating sheet, as well as that if they turn in their rating sheet in the Dropbox, it is not private, so other group members can see that. So I make sure to let them know, just, you know, hey, email it to me, don't post it in the Dropbox if you don't want it to be, or if you want it to be private. So in my news announcement, I also say that inside Module 5 discussion, I've created a thread where you can coordinate. So I have to actually remember to do that. So when I set up the course, I make sure to go in here into group 5 discussion, because you can no longer add a discussion, an extra discussion board on here. Used to be able to, but I cannot any longer. So I go in here and then, sorry, I'll show you what I'm doing. So I have this written, this is my highlighted, so I have here, and I'm just going to copy this, and I'm going to start a new thread. I don't need it formatted. This is my subject. And there we go. So, yes. Okay, and then later on, when it gets closer, I will list who is in their groups as well. So I need to select a group. I want this to go to all groups. And that should be it. Okay, so that's all I do for the discussion questions now that I can't add a new board. I used to have it set up where I would add like a classroom and then have them introduce themselves, and then they could post questions there, and then I would have their group coordination there as well. But yes, so I do this now instead. So the last thing I do to get all set up in the course, outside of all the Pearson things you need to do, is I go into groups. This is very important for lecture. It has no bearing on, so let me go into lab. Lab, there is no groups. Okay, so you don't have to do anything for lab. In lecture, I've already done this for this course, but right here, things have already changed since doing this yesterday. So it looks like I got more students. So I'm going to kind of go through here and walk you through just what I do. This is very important because if you screw this up, it has downstream consequences that are no fun to fix. Let me see if I can get them in the same little window. Okay. Okay, so there are 2 different groups. You have the assignment groups, and then I'll make this one our discussion groups. So the discussion groups are okay, something got messed up here. That's okay, I'll fix it. So our discussion groups are who the other students can see. So when you first come into your class, I'm going to go to enroll users. This is all jumbled up. They have everyone kind of randomly assigned. I went through and reassigned everybody in order. That is personal preference for me because it makes assigning groups a little easier. So I'll show you what I mean. So I have them set up. So if I look at assignment groups, these are who is in their group for your module, their Module 5 group assignment. This is very important that they're assigned to the right people, because when they turn in their assignment into Dropbox, it puts them in these groups. So to show you what I'm talking about real quick, I will pull up just this class in their Dropbox, Module 5. So all other assignments are submitted by user. Their Module 5 is submitted by group. So if, say if Cindy worked with Morgan, but in the system she was assigned to a group with Shelby, when they submitted their assignments, Cindy's work would appear here. And when you grade it, you would have to fix the grades, because you don't want her to get Module 5 or Group 5's grades, you want her to get Group 6 grades. So that's kind of why these are important. So I'm going to enroll users here for the assignment, and I go straight down the list in their grouping, because that's easier. Right now they're grouped in 4, but by the time Module 5 rolls around, some are in 2s, some are in 4s, 3s and 4s, and it's just, you can have as many groups as you want, so it's just kind of teacher preference how many you want them in groups. 3 I think is a good number, 4 I think is a little much, but I can see here, so Carmen through Stephanie is in a group, and I want to make sure that they can see each other in the classroom to be able to communicate and coordinate for this course, or for this assignment. So I make sure that Carmen through Stephanie are in the same discussion group, and then I just kind of go down the list. So I kind of, 2 and 2. So Carmen through Frida should be in this same group. Perfect. And then I'll scroll over. I don't know what happened here. If there's a question mark, that means they're assigned to 2 groups, and I want to make sure that I fix that. So we've got Sherilyn through, oh, that's a group of 5. I don't want a group of 5. So I'll fix this. Okay, so Elizabeth, and I kind of just make sure my groups are in order. This is personal preference, but honestly I have found this to be the easiest. So through Crystal, so Sherilyn through Crystal. Okay, they're all in the same group. And then make sure, there we go, now we've evened out. So Kanetta through the end to Natalie are in the same group. And over here, Kanetta to the end to Natalie are in the same group. So now I have them all in groups of 4, and I've made sure that they're all visible, like they can all see each other. So the only other thing for this is that this group right here has no people, so I'm just going to delete this group. But I can add new groups if I want to break them out into 3s. I can add new groups over here if I want them in smaller discussion groups. It's all personal preference. So we can add a group here, and then if you want to move anybody around, it's enroll users. Okay, that is all I do for submitting, or for setting up Anatomy and Physiology 2, as well as the lab. The lab is much easier because it is just putting in the news announcements. Well, this is not my lab. But the other helpful tip I would say is to save everything you do for your classes, and then make a checklist for setting up so that you know that you don't, you're not forgetting anything. Forgetting to set up the group assignments, and in Pearson, forgetting to remove the late penalties. Those are big mistakes that are hard to fix after the students start. They can be fixed, it's just, it can be a little tricky. So I hope this helps.